Hello everybody and welcome. This is Jeremy Moskowitz, Group Policy MVP and founder of PolicyPak software. And in this series of videos, we're talking about how PolicyPak is the missing tool in the VMware Horizon View suite. Specifically, in this video, we're going to learn about how you can deploy actual settings inside your ThinApp packages when those applications are deployed, those ThinApp packages are deployed using VMware Horizon View Administrator. Now, there are actually three basic ways that you can deploy ThinApp packages. This is way number 2. In another video, we talked about how if you want to, you can just put the application directly into a VDI image or on a physical machine. But in this particular demonstration, I'm going to show you how I'm going to take my ThinApp packages that are registered in VMware Horizon View. Then I'm going to associate them with particular pools, and then I'm going to use PolicyPak to deliver settings and lock those puppies down. So for starters, let me go ahead and go over to, say, Mozilla 21 here. And I want to double click on this guy, and I want to assign this to a particular pool. Okay, and I'm going to pick my floating pool and assign it there. And this is a full package, which is the alternative is streaming. And I have, I think one of the other packages is streaming, so I'll go ahead and try to find that. So we're assigning Mozilla 21 over to our floating pool here. And let me go back and let me go to, say, Adobe Reader here as well. And I'm going to add the assignment to the same pool. And there we go. So this one is a streaming type package, and I'm going to add it again to my floating pool right here. And that's it. Let's just go ahead and start right there and see what occurs. So let me go ahead and click on over to my Group Policy Management console, and let's do some things that affect the user. So no matter where the user goes, he gets affected, and some things that will affect the entire pool. So whoever hits any of the machines in the pool gets affected. So let's start off with the user side. So let's do this, and we'll say, call this Manage Acrobat XI Real and ThinApp. Okay, and like I said, we're going to do this on the user side, so everyone's going to be affected by that. All these users, these West Sales users, will be affected by this edict. So we'll go ahead and select New Application, and PolicyPak ships with over 100 pre-configured packs to manage most applications, and I happen to have a handful of them snapped in here, like Acrobat Reader X and XI and Firefox and Link, but there's a zillion others. But I'm just going to go ahead and select Acrobat Reader XI for starters here. And let's make sure that we can make this machine as secure as possible. We don't want enable Acrobat JavaScript selected, and so that's checked by default inside the app, and we don't want that. So we're going to uncheck that, and we'll also disable the setting. We'll also go to Security Enhanced and make sure that Enable Enhanced Security is in fact always on, and also users can't work around it. And lastly, oops, maybe somebody forgot inside the package to not have Acrobat Auto Update. Well, instead of taking that package out of service, putting it back through the process and redeploying it, necessarily taking computers offline during that process, instead you can simply just dynamically inject the correction right into the package. So for this application, I want to do not download or install updates automatically, and I'm going to also disable the corresponding control in the target application. And also, while I'm here, we added a couple of extras here. It only took a second. So if we want to, we can also prevent the EULA from appearing automatically, which is nice. As soon as users log on, the EULA is pre-accepted for them. And of course, we don't want to be asked to participate in the Adobe Acrobat customer experience program. So we'll go ahead, we'll click OK, and all those settings are locked and loaded on the user side. Now for the pool itself, now let's also create a group policy object that manages Firefox, Real, and ThinApp. Now this is a very common situation where you might have embedded one particular version of Firefox inside the VDI image, but then you have another version that you have via ThinApp. And in that way, you might want to ensure that some particular security settings or look and feel settings are always the same for both versions. So I'm going to do this on the computer side, and on PolicyPak Applications, I'm going to go to New Application and select Firefox. Then for the home page, I'll change this to PolicyPak.com, and while I'm here, I will also lock down the setting using the system-wide config file. So this is going to guarantee that users can't work around this setting. Same thing for these security settings, these checkboxes here. I definitely want to make sure that these check marks are checked, and they're also locked down so users can't work around them. So now that I've locked and loaded these directives, one on the user side, one on the computer side, let's go over to my Horizon View client and log on as a guy called West User 3. We'll go ahead and select floating linked clones here, which is one of our pools. It's going to, of course, pick one of the random VDI sessions in the pool. So now that the VDI session is launched and loaded, it looks like the user has access to, well, multiple versions of the same app, but actually that's not really true. This version of Acrobat Reader X, this is pre-baked into the gold image here, and if I hover over it, you'll see that it shows you that it's installed on C:\program files. This Firefox is actually the same way. It's pre-installed into the gold image as program files Mozilla Firefox. But this guy here, this is Acrobat Reader 11 through ThinApp, and this is Firefox 21 through ThinApp. So for fun, let's go ahead and see PolicyPak do its magic once we run the ThinApp application. So first things first, no EULA, because PolicyPak delivered the setting to say thanks but no thanks to the EULA. So right out of the gate, even if you might have forgotten to do that inside your ThinApp package, the best part is we're dynamically delivering the settings on the fly right at logon time. So if we go to Edit Preferences here, let's make sure that some of the other settings that we set earlier are in effect. So if we go down to JavaScript, remember we wanted that unchecked and locked down, and that's exactly what we did. PolicyPak delivered uncheck and it locked it down. If we go to Security Enhanced, we deliver the check mark of Enable Enhanced Security and also lock it down. And if you remember, Updater, well, once again, somebody might have forgotten to do this inside the package, and instead of taking the package offline, rejiggering it, and put it back into production, PolicyPak is injecting the settings directly, dynamically, and also locking the settings down so users don't get annoying pop-ups or other weird behavior that you don't want them to have. Okay, so let me go ahead and close out Acrobat Reader here. And now let's take a look at Firefox. I want to launch each version of Firefox and show you what's actually happening. Like I said, this one is pre-baked in, and this is a really old version of Firefox. If I take a look at Help About, this is version 6. If I take a look at the one that's distributed through ThinApp and VMware View, this one is a lot newer, and this is version 21. So if I go to Help About, that's version 21. But the key point is, let's take a look back at version 6 again. If I go to the options here, okay, boom, right there you can see that PolicyPak's homepage is being, or the homepage is being set by PolicyPak, and it's locked down so users can't work around it. If we go to security, those settings again are being delivered, and you saw me configure this particular group policy object with PolicyPak directives so that anyone in the pool will get exactly the same settings. And the ultra best part here, and what I really am trying to show, is that it doesn't matter if the version is real or virtualized using ThinApp. PolicyPak is special, and we can get into the virtual bubble and deliver the settings right into the ThinApp version or the real install version. Okay, and that's it. That's how easy it is to get PolicyPak to deliver settings to your real applications or your virtualized applications when you use VMware View to inject your ThinApp applications. Now I have one more thing to share with you before I say goodbye in this video, which is the interaction between PolicyPak and VMware View persona management. So the idea is that if a user goes to an application and they want to make a settings change themselves, for instance in this example I'll go to Edit Preferences here, and perhaps this user wants to change the units from inches to centimeters. Okay, great. So they've changed that. Well, what's your expectation the next time they log on? Well, it's VMware View Persona Management that's going to preserve that setting. So I'm going to go ahead and log off here. And as soon as I do, I get to pick another, I'll pick another machine to log on to here in the virtual pool here. I'll log on as the same user. Okay, I'll get a different machine in the pool, and PolicyPak will be delivering the IT administrator's desired settings, and VMware View Persona Management will be preserving the user's requested preference style settings. So in this way, we have a fantastic better together story. The user's changes, anything they want to make, that's great, that's preserved, and anything the IT administrator wants to dictate, that is also ensured, maintained, and automatically remediated in case a user tries to work around it. So here's our new desktop. I think the ThinApps are still installing. Some of them are streaming. So let's go ahead and just run ThinApp here. Oh, there we go. There was Firefox popping in. And now let's go to Edit Preferences again and see what's occurred. Great. This is exactly what we expect. VMware View Persona Management maintained this setting for the user. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what if there's a conflict between PolicyPak and VMware View Persona Management? Let's actually show what that looks like here. So in order to do this, I'm going to go back over to my DC here. I'm going to go back over to Manage Acrobat Reader using PolicyPak, and I will dictate the exact same setting here. So what I'll do is I'll go into Acrobat Reader 11, go over to units, and I'm going to change this to something, maybe our corporate standard. Maybe our corporate standard is millimeters, and we want to right click and also disable the corresponding control in the target application so users can't work around it. So we'll go ahead, we'll click OK here. We'll go back to our example machine. Now, the user could simply log off and log back on and get a new machine, or they could wait for group policy to kick in the background, which is every 90 minutes or so. I just happen to be manually kicking off group policy update with GP update, and this is built into the operating system. So now that that's occurred, PolicyPak has actually set the setting. Even though the user had their own desire, PolicyPak is for the administrator to put their desires on, and in that case, we will win. So let's take a look. We'll go ahead and run the ThinApp version of Acrobat Reader 11 and go to Edit Preferences here. And there it is. Our corporate standard of millimeters is set and it's grayed out so users can't change it exactly what we wanted. So in this way, there is some interaction. The point is that VMware View Persona Management enables users to roam the settings that they want, but PolicyPak delivers and guarantees IT settings so users can't work around them. And that's about it. If you have any other questions about this, I hope you watch some of the other videos in this series and get in touch if you're looking to get started with a trial. Talk to you soon.